In 1825, a woman's face melted off her skull. Her husband watched. He was the one who poisoned her, and she promised him one thing before she died: "I will never leave you." Those 4 words became Japan's most feared curse. This is the true story of Oiwa, the vengeful spirit who killed 17 people. And she is still hunting. But to understand why her rage never dies, we must go back to where betrayal and beauty collided in old Tokyo. 1825, the Yotsuya district of Edo, now Tokyo, was home to samurai families struggling with poverty. Honor meant everything, but rice bowls were often empty. Tamiya Iemon was one such samurai. Handsome, charming, but deeply in debt. He served the Tamiya family with a smile that hid his desperation. Then he met Oiwa, daughter of another struggling samurai. She was known throughout the district for one thing: her extraordinary beauty. Her face was so perfect that men would walk past her father's house just for a glimpse. Oiwa was gentle, loyal, and deeply devoted to family honor. Iemon saw opportunity, not love, opportunity. He courted her with poems and promises. Oiwa's father approved the marriage, believing Iemon would restore their family fortune. They married in the spring of 1823. For 2 years, Oiwa worked tirelessly, sewing, cooking, caring for their home. She never complained, even as Iemon gambled away their money. But poverty gnawed at Iemon's pride. He began to resent her, resent the life they lived. Then Oiwa became pregnant, and his resentment turned to something darker. A wealthy merchant named Itihai lived nearby. He had a young, beautiful granddaughter named Umei, and he had money. Money that could save Iemon from his shame. Kihei approached Iemon with a proposal: marry Umei, and the debt disappears. There was just one problem. Iemon was already married to Oiwa, who had just given birth to their son. In Edo period Japan, divorce was possible, but only if the wife was proven unfaithful or unworthy. Oiwa was neither. She was devoted, hardworking, and had just given him a son. So Kihei and Iemon devised a plan. If Oiwa's beauty was destroyed, Iemon could claim she was no longer fit to be a samurai's wife. They needed her to become ugly. The poison was called medicine. Kihei sent it to Oiwa, claiming it would help her recover from childbirth. Oiwa, trusting and exhausted, drank it without question. Within hours, her skin began to burn. By morning, her face had started to transform. The poison wasn't meant to kill. It was meant to destroy her beauty forever. Her left eye drooped until it was nearly sealed shut. Her hair fell out in clumps. The flawless skin that had defined her melted like wax, revealing raw flesh beneath. She looked in the mirror and screamed. The woman staring back was unrecognizable, a monster. Oiwa clutched her baby and wept until she had no tears left. Iemon came home that evening. He looked at his wife's destroyed face and smiled. "What happened to you?" he asked, feigning shock. His plan had worked perfectly. Within days, Iemon told Oiwa he was leaving her. She begged him to stay, her disfigured face wet with tears. He pushed her away and called her disgusting. But Oiwa wouldn't let go. She followed Iemon through the house, clutching at his robes, begging to know why. Why was he abandoning her? What had she done wrong? Iemon's patience snapped. He grabbed his katana, not to threaten, to end. He couldn't divorce her legally, but he could make her disappear. And no one would mourn a monster. The blade went through her throat in one swift motion. Oiwa's eyes widened, not in pain, but in understanding the poison, the abandonment. It had all been planned. As she collapsed, blood pooling beneath her ruined face, Oiwa whispered 4 words that would echo through centuries: "I will never leave you." Iemon stared at her corpse. For a moment, he felt nothing. Then her eye, the drooping, ruined eye, moved. It looked directly at him, Then it blinked. He stumbled backward, blade clattering to the floor. The corpse didn't move again. Just that one blink. Iemon convinced himself he'd imagined it. He was wrong. He wrapped Oiwa's body in reed mats and weighted it with stones. That night he carried her to the Konda River and pushed her into the dark water. The current took her downstream, past sleeping houses, under bridges. But something else traveled with that corpse, a rage so pure it refused to die with her body. 3 days later, Iemon married Umame in a grand ceremony. Kihai's money paid for everything, the finest sake, the best musicians. Iemon smiled throughout. He was free. But on their wedding night, as Iemon reached to remove Ume's elaborate headdress, he saw something that made his blood freeze. Her face. It wasn't Ume's face anymore. It was Oiwa, her drooping eye, her melted skin, her mouth twisted in a silent scream. Iemon blinked, and Ume's face returned. But the image remained burned in his mind. He began seeing Oiwa everywhere, in reflections, in shadows, standing at the foot of his bed at night, watching him with that ruined face, never speaking, just staring. Ume began to notice her husband's terror. He would wake screaming, clawing at his face, shouting about eyes watching him. She tried to comfort him, but he would push her away violently. One night, Iemon woke to find Ume standing over him. But her face was wrong again, melting, drooping, bleeding. He grabbed his katana without thinking and struck. It was only when he saw the blood-real blood, not a ghostly vision, that he realized what he'd done. Ume lay dead at his feet. He'd killed his new wife, thinking she was Oiwa's ghost. But when he looked down at Ume's corpse, he saw Oiwa's face staring back up at him, smiling. That smile said everything. "You cannot escape me. I will make you kill everyone you love." Iemon fled into the night, leaving 2 corpses behind. He ran through Edo's streets, seeing Oiwa in every shadow, every window reflection. She was everywhere now, inescapable. Kihei heard of Ume's death and came searching for Iemon. He found him hiding in a temple, raving about ghosts and cursed eyes. Kihei drew his sword, demanding answers. But before Kihei could strike, he saw her too. Oiwa, standing behind Iemon, her hands on his shoulders, her ruined face pressed against his ear, whispering something inaudible. Kihei dropped his weapon and ran. He made it 3 blocks before collapsing, clutching his chest. His heart had simply stopped. Doctors called it natural, but everyone knew better. Iemon was found the next morning, dead in that same temple. His eyes were open, frozen in absolute terror. Both hands clutched his throat, as if he'd been strangling himself. But Oiwa's vengeance didn't end there. Over the following decades, 17 people connected to Iemon's family died under mysterious circumstances. All showed the same signs. Nightmares of a disfigured woman, visions of eyes that wouldn't close, heart attacks at impossible ages. One man threw himself into the Konda River, the same river where Oiwa's body had sunk. The story became legend. Parents warned children, never betray those who love you, never destroy beauty out of greed, and never ever speak ill of Oiwa near the Yotsuya district. But legends don't just fade, they grow, they adapt. And Oiwa's curse adapted to modern Tokyo in ways no one expected. The ghost story became reality again. In 1956, a film crew prepared to shoot Yotsuya Kaidan at Toho Studios. The lead actress playing Oiwa insisted on visiting Oiwa's grave first, an old tradition for safety. The director laughed at the superstition and refused to allow it. "It is just a legend," he said. 3 days into filming, the actress's face began to swell, just like Oiwa's. Doctors found no medical explanation. The swelling grew worse, her left eye drooping exactly as described in the legend. Filming stopped. The director finally visited Oiwa's grave. After proper respects were paid, The actress's swelling vanished overnight. The film was completed without further incident. The curse had been acknowledged. That was enough, that time. But not everyone learned the lesson. In 1994, another production began filming a modern adaptation. Again, the director skipped the grave visit. Again, accidents started immediately. The lead actor broke his leg on a simple walking scene. The cinematographer's camera exploded without explanation. Set lights fell, missing crew members by inches. 7 accidents in 3 days. The production was cancelled. The director visited Oiwa's grave the next morning and found something that made him weep. Fresh flowers placed there every single day by locals who remembered. Here is what most people don't know. Oiwa's grave is real. It sits in Tokyo's Yotsuya district, at a temple called Myoji-oji, and it is visited by thousands every year, mostly by actors. Before any production of Yotsuya Kaidan begins stage play, film, or TV show, the cast and crew visit her grave. They ask permission. They apologize for depicting her suffering. And those who don't, the stories are consistent. Accidents, illnesses, face swelling, equipment failures. One actress in 2003 fell from a stage during the murder scene. She broke the same bones Oiwa did. Scholars have tried to explain it logically. Stress, suggestion, coincidence. But the pattern holds across 70 years and dozens of productions. Respect her, and you're safe. Ignore her, and pay. I visited Myoji-oji myself last spring. The moment I stepped through the gate, the air changed, heavier. Watching the locals won't even speak her name without adding sama, a term of respect. Her grave is modest, a simple stone marker. But the offerings are endless sake. Flowers, mirrors, even makeup. Gifts from actors hoping to avoid her wrath. Apologies from directors who learned too late. I placed my own offering, a mirror, as is traditional, and I spoke to her. Not to a legend, but to a woman who suffered the ultimate betrayal. I will tell your story with respect, I promised. As I left, I glanced back. For just a moment, and I cannot explain this rationally. I saw a woman standing beside her grave. Long black hair, pale kimono. She nodded once, then vanished. Was it Oiwa, a trick of light? My mind creating what I expected to see? I don't know. But I felt something shift, an acknowledgement, a permission granted, or maybe a warning. Because here is the terrifying truth about Oiwa's curse. It is not random. She doesn't haunt everyone. She hunts those who disrespect her story, who treat her suffering as entertainment without acknowledgement. She demands something simple, recognition that she was real, that her pain mattered. That betrayal and beauty destroyed is not just a ghost story. It is a warning about human cruelty. This is why I opened with her suffering, not just her haunting, because Oiwa's ghost is terrifying, yes, but what Iemon did to her, that is the real horror, and it happens every day. Betrayal, disfigurement as punishment, murder disguised as convenience. These aren't supernatural themes, they're human ones. Oiwa's curse is just the universe correcting what law couldn't. If you ever work on a Yotsuya Kaidan production, or tell her story in any form, visit her grave, bring offerings, ask permission, not because you believe in ghosts, but because she was real. And if you're walking through Yotsuya at night and see a woman in a pale kimono with long black hair, don't stare, don't follow, and especially don't ask about her face. Because some curses don't end. They evolve, they adapt. And Oiwa, the woman whose beauty was destroyed, whose love was betrayed, whose murder was forgotten, she remembers everything. If this story kept you awake, we're meant to be here. Subscribe for more Japanese horror legends, the real stories behind the nightmares. New episodes every week. Your fear awaits. I am your guide through Japan's darkest folklore. Until next time, keep your mirrors covered, your respect intact, and your promises sacred. Some debts outlast death.